Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Pagani Design PD-1692. This watch is available from Pagani Design all factory store on AliExpress for €128. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the other items one gets with the piece. So this is the watch box that comes with the watch, and the watch sits inside on a piece of foam inside a foam cutout panel in the base, as one would expect. Although basic, it does suffice in protecting the watch and shipping from any damage, and I think it's perfectly acceptable to use this basic style of watch box, bearing in mind it's a low tier price point piece at only €128. This is the owner's instruction manual, clear concise diagrams. The instructions are in English and they detail the operation of the movement used, which is the Seiko NH35A automatic. This is the plastic guarantee card, and as usual the reverse isn't filled in. However, I'm pleased to report that this PD-1692 is covered by the usual 12-month international guarantee. One also gets this nylon Zulu strap with a watch. As you can see, stainless steel hardware, and it's black PVD coated to a good standard. Plenty of holes in the strap to allow for fine-tuning the length. Now, the fabric does feel quite stiff, but with daily wear I'm confident that it's going to break in and become very comfortable, and the quality of the nylon weave to the fabric is acceptable. This is the plastic tag that comes with the watch. And lastly, one also gets this Pagani Design branded microfiber polishing cloth. I always think it's a nice touch to get a branded microfiber polishing cloth, irrespective of the price point of a piece. So, with regards to the specifications of the piece, this is the Pagani Design PD-1692. The watch is clearly an homage to the Rolex Explorer. I've previously reviewed the black dial version of this watch. Now, the difference to note is the black dial version has PT time at 6 o'clock. Pagani Design have then released this version, and it's in two dial colour options, green or alternatively ice blue. Now, the green and the ice blue versions of the 1692 don't have Mercedes hands, they use the baton hands. And the other thing to note is they have deleted the PT time on the green and ice blue versions. However, the black dial version still uses Mercedes hands and it still has PT time on the dial, so that's something to bear in mind. So as this is an homage to the Rolex Explorer, it has very similar proportions. We have a 40mm case diameter, a 49mm lug-to-lug measurement, a thickness of 11.7mm, and a lug width of 20mm. The oyster style bracelet tapers from 20mm at the lugs down to 16mm at the flip-lock clasp. And as you can see, the flip-lock clasp is signed to a high standard with Pagani Design engraved. Beautiful luster to the brush satin finishing to the 316L grade stainless steel, which contrasts with the flawless mirror polishing to the flanks. The flip-lock clasp is well executed. I'll show you the interior. Solid mill 316L grade stainless steel, matte finish to the centre section of the body, which contrasts with the flawless mirror polishing to the top side, underside and flanks. The hinge pins feel tight. This is one of the better Pagani Design flip-lock clasps. It also benefits from a 5mm EasyLink style extension, and this also deploys very well. Nice positive click, easy to deploy, and also easy to snap back in, and I really like it. No sharp edges, no burrs. The edges to the clasp don't have any sharp edges, which is good. So it's one of the better clasps, and I think Pagani Design deserve full credit because they have improved the quality control, build quality and finishing of their flip-lock clasps on the 1692. So with regards to the rest of the specification, we have a flat sapphire crystal with clear AR coating. The 1733, which is the Milgauss homage, and also the 1692 Air King and Explorer homages, benefit from using clear AR coating. And as you can see, the clear AR coating does an excellent job of reducing the glare and the highly reflective nature of the silver applied indices, silver applied Arabic numerals, and also the silver mirror polished baton hands. I like the symmetry of the dial as per the Rolex Explorer, which this is an homage to. And it's also very well balanced because the silver applied mirror polished Pagani Design shield at 12 o'clock balances the 9, 6 and 3 applied Arabic numerals. Interesting choice that they've elected to use silver mirror polished baton hands, which look similar to the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41 hands. And I think they look very good. And also it's nice that this isn't a direct one-to-one copy or clone of the Rolex Explorer. Being an homage to it, it does have the same dial layout, but having baton hands rather than Mercedes hands gives it something different. And also like the fact it's got a green dial rather than using black as per the Rolex Explorer. The dark green dial is matte finish and it's very aesthetically pleasing. I also like that they've printed the text at 6 o'clock on the dial in black, and also the minute ticks on the chaptering are in black, which contrasts very well. So the legibility of the dial is excellent, and also the hands are very well proportioned. Often with Chinese watches in the low tier, the hands are undersized, they're under proportion. So for example, the minute hand will be too short and the hour hand will be too short. But as you can see, the hour hand is well proportioned because it does reach to the applied indices and also the Arabic numerals. And the minute hand does extend nearly to the minute ticks on the chaptering. The second hand is also the correct length because it extends all the way to the minute ticks on the chaptering, so they deserve full credit because these Oyster Perpetual style hands, which are baton style, they are very well proportioned, and I think they complement the Explorer dial layouts. So symmetry is good, functionality is good, legibility is good. Now with regards to the finishing to the case, the bezel is flawless mirror polished, as you can see, 316L grade stainless steel, flawless mirror polishing to the flanks, and that contrasts with the brushed satin finishing to the tops of the lugs. The case back is also very well executed, I'll show it to you. It provides an effective hermetic seal to 200 meters of water resistance. Now, minor criticism, and this is subjective because some collectors will like this and some collectors will dislike it. I prefer on the other versions of the 1692, such as the Air King, which I personally own, they engraved the Pagani design shield, and I think the shield Pagani design emblem looks better than these really irrelevant engraved designs. As you can see, this has a mountain design to it, and of course this is meant to fit the Explorer, but I think it would look better if they had continuity throughout the 1692 and 1733, which is the Milgauss Homage. They should just use the shield throughout, the same case back. Now having said that, the screw down solid stainless steel case back is finished to a very high standard, flawless mirror polishing to the circumference, no sharp edges or burrs to the milled slots, and the centre section has a matte bead blasted effect and mirror polished embossed and engraved mountain logo, as you can see. So it is finished to a very high standard. The engraving is very good quality with the specification, but I just think it would look better if it had the shield in the centre section as per the 1692 Air King Homage and also the black dial 1692 Explorer Homage, rather than this mountain design. The solid end links are a good tight fit to the case, very well finished, and the underside to the head of the piece is also well finished with a satin finish to it. Right, so the crown is a solid 316L grade stainless steel crown, as you can see, coin edge finished and embossed with a Pagani design shield, mirror polished to a high standard. So let's test the screw down crown execution. The screw down crown provides an effective hermetic seal to 200 meters, absolutely silky smooth. Credit where credit's due, this is something that Pagani design do very well on the 1692. This is absolutely silky smooth, and it's as good as the very best of Pagani design screw down crowns, such as the 1644, which is the Daytona homage, and also the 1661, which is the Submariner date homage. So on the 1692, it has a very silky smooth screw down crown. In the first position, it's the manual wind position, and one can manually wind the Seiko NH35A automatic to top it up to its maximum 40-hour power reserve. Absolute pleasure. One can feel the tension in the mainspring gradually building up. Pulling it out to the first click position is the date setting position, because this is the NH35A rather than the 38, and therefore the date wheel is still present beneath the dial. Although there isn't a date complication, we don't have a date window, so rotating it anti-clockwise, one can feel the quick set complication of the date clicking over. I would prefer they use the NH38 in the 1692 because that would delete the extra crown, the phantom crown setting, date setting position on the crown. But the NH35A is an acceptable choice. Pulling it out to the second click is the time setting position, and as you can see, I've now hacked the movements. One can set the time precisely to the second. I've now hacked the second hand dead. Absolutely silky smooth, no backplay clockwise and anti-clockwise, so it's an absolute pleasure to set the time on the NH35A. Pushing it back in, it's got a nice positive click, and that restarts the movement. So let's test screwing it back down. Immediate thread pickup. This is outstanding screw down crown execution. One of the best screw down crowns I've ever experienced on a Pagani design watch, the 1692 really is outstanding. It feels exactly the same as the 1692 screw down crown on my Air King Homage. Also feels exactly the same as the 1733, which is the Milgauss Homage I previously reviewed. Right, so I'll give you a wrist shot and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. Now I haven't sized the bracelet, and as you can see, there are enough links in the bracelet to fit even up to an 8.5-inch wrist, because I can fit an index finger underneath the bracelet and clasp at all times. Beautiful luster to the flip lock clasp, and also beautiful luster to the oyster style bracelet. So the proportions of this piece will suit you if you have a 6 to 7-inch wrist or a 7 to 8-inch wrist respectively. The Rolex Explorer 214270 is a 39mm case. This is very similar proportions to the Explorer. I've previously reviewed the Rolex Explorer, which is 39. At 40, this is very close because we have the same 20mm lug width tapering down to 16mm at the flip lock clasp. One thing I really like about this 1692 is it is low profile for an NH35A powered piece. It's only 11.7mm thick, and that's the benefit of using a flat sapphire crystal rather than a double dome sapphire crystal. They have reduced it to only 11.7. So it will easily slip underneath your shirt cuff if you wear business shirts, and therefore it makes a practical daily wear piece. Very comfortable to wear, it feels very well balanced with all the links in the oyster style bracelet. This is 145 grams, so it feels weightless on wrist. It feels more like the head of the piece is on a rubber strap or leather strap. That's the kind of comfort level we're looking at. And I think the proportions are very good. 49mm lug to lug measurement is slightly long. I consider 48mm to be the sweet spot. That is the perfect lug to lug measurement, regardless of whether you have a 6 to 7-inch wrist or a 7 to 8-inch wrist. But at 49, it's just 1mm longer than perfection. The rest of the proportions are outstanding. 40mm perfectly works with the 20mm to 16 taper, and I really like the 11.7 thickness, so the proportions are excellent. Feel good factor is good, comfort level is good, the legibility of the dial is outstanding. I love the symmetry of the 9, 6 and 3 Explorer dial layout. And the baton hands work well, and they make a refreshing change from using Mercedes hands as per the black dial version I previously reviewed. Right, so let's do a lume test and we'll see how the lume performs when it's charged up to the absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to the absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, this is the one negative of the watch. There's a mismatch. The baton hands have green C3 Luminova, and the applied indices, applied Arabic numerals, and the triangle at 12 o'clock use blue Luminova. This is clearly blue Luminova and green C3 Luminova rather than super Luminova, and as you can see, it's disappointing performance. Now, they've clearly applied 2 to 3 layers of Luminova on the baton hands and also the applied indices. This isn't 5 to 6 layers, which would glow brighter initially and also glow for a longer length of time. So this is a clear cost-cutting measure, and it's the one main negative of the watch. It's a shame that they didn't match the colour tone and use the same blue Luminova on the baton hands and the applied indices. And I really dislike watches that use different colour lume on the hands and different colour lume on the dial. I think they should match. It should be all green or all blue. And as you can see on the baton hands, the green Luminova is now quickly fading to nothing very fast, so disappointing. And on the 9, 6 and 3 Arabic numerals, you can see that they're also fading quickly, as are the other applied indices. So very weak performance, and I really think that they should improve this with 5 to 6 layers, and they should also upgrade to using BGW9, alternatively C3 Super Luminova. And that's something that collectors would happily pay an additional €5 to €10 on the retail price, because it is the one thing that Pagani Design really needs to enhance. I'm pleased to see the use of clear AR coating on the 1692. That is an upgrade. So really it's just the use of Luminova that they need to enhance. So as you can see now, on the baton hands they have faded to nothing, and on the dial it is quickly beginning to fade to nothing too. Right, so let's discuss the movement used. You'll all be familiar with the Seiko NH35A Automatic. It's a reliable, well-proven workhorse movement. It has 24 joules. It runs at 21,600 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 3 Hz. It has hand winding and hacking, which is useful complications, 40-hour power reserve, which is perfectly acceptable. The stated accuracy of the NH35A is -20 to +40 seconds per day, so a rather wide accuracy range. However, I'm pleased to report this 1692 has been well regulated and it's running consistently at +6 seconds per day, which is excellent accuracy for an NH35A. Personally, I would prefer they use the NH38 as I've detailed, because that would delete the phantom date setting position. This is a no date watch and therefore the 38 would be a better choice than the 35A. But however, the 35A is reliable and it's also a well proven movement. I like the accuracy of it. I think +6 is perfectly acceptable and I think it is the correct choice for this piece. Right, so lastly I'll summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet 2 criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So to evaluate this piece, one needs to study the quality of the finishing throughout. The quality to the finishing to the head of the piece is excellent. The quality to the end links is also excellent, good tight fit to the case. Now, with regards to the bracelet, it feels very good. This is one of the better Pagani design bracelets. It's as good as the very best of the 1661 bracelets. And no, it hasn't got too much play in it, and also the articulation is very smooth, no stiff links. And I like the fact there's no stiff links at this end, which is a problem with other Pagani design bracelets. The brush satin finishing is beautiful, as you can see, beautiful luster to it, and also the mirror polishing to the flanks is very good, 1.6mm screw pins rather than push pins. So this 1692 bracelet really is excellent quality and no sharp edges, no burrs to it, doesn't pull arm hairs. I'm very impressed with the quality of it. Also the flip-lock clasp, as I've detailed, is finished to a good standard, no sharp edges, doesn't have sharp corners, and the EasyLink style extension does deploy and snap back in with a nice positive click. So the quality control builds quality and finishing throughout, both to the head of the piece, the bracelet and the clasp are all 10 out of 10 outstanding. So really the only negative to this 1692 is the mismatch in the lume on the dial and hands, green on the hands and blue on the dial, and the use of Luminova rather than BGW9 or C3 Superluminova respectively. But other than that, the watch has no negatives. 200 meters is strong specification, and I'm really pleased to see clear AR coating used on the 1692. So I'm going to declare it a champagne watch for lemonade money, and I'm going to highly recommend it to you for your consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Pagani Design PD-1692. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.